football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Carlos Alcaraz has won the last two Grand Slam titles at the French Open on the clay and at Wimbledon earlier this summer. He enters as the favorite.
You have a bunch of depth there. Francis Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. They will likely play in round three. The winner would play Djokovic, most likely, which would be an incredible match. I like Ben Shelton as a sleeper. If Djokovic is hurt, you never know. I think Shelton could actually be the guy that gets hot. The conditions favor him.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's now with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only.
What do we say? Some game time decisions on a Monday with the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers set to take the field in San Francisco against the 49ers. We've got you covered all night right here on SportsGrid. I'm Kevin Walsh. We are live on Game Time Decisions for the next hour with our picks and breakdowns for Niners Jets, as well as a little peek over at that Major League Baseball board, just because I know you are curious. There are a few interesting spots that you can get involved with. We're going to have Joe Lisi stop by here on this show as well. Not just talking Niners Jets, NFL Week 1 fallout, as well as college football. Huge win for Texas, disaster for Notre Dame, Oregon pushed by legit Heisman contender, running back for Boise State, Ashton Genty. A lot of stuff for us to go through. After Game Time Decisions, your pregame show led by Casey Hudson begins. Full coverage of everything you need for Monday Night Football on SportsGrid. And then at kickoff, the Pro Football Today crew is live and ready. Myself, Joe Lisi, Donnie Rightside, in the chairs all game long. Full 4 quarters of breakdowns, live action, and analysis for Niners Jets. Do not miss a second. Are we ready? Shall we? Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Look, firstly, just for Jets fans here, I imagine the nerves, the anxiousness for this game is unimaginable. Everything that went into last year, Monday night as well, the Buffalo Bills, the Rodgers debut, and it was gone in an instant. They still won that football game, but it didn't matter. The season was lost once again due to lackluster quarterback play. Well, the Jets' expectations, incredibly, heading into year 2 of Aaron Rodgers, at least on this roster, are even bigger than they were year 1. The New York Jets enter this season favorites in the AFC East, a division that last year sent 2 teams to the playoffs in Buffalo and Miami. The Jets' Super Bowl price at 14-1. The same number as the Philadelphia Eagles, who I bet to win the Super Bowl. Their number to win the conference at 7-1, flirting with being just behind the Baltimore Ravens, who were in the AFC Championship game last year. The expectations are monster, and it's understandable. For my money, the Jets have the best defense in football. Undeniably one of the three best. They are loaded on all three levels, and they have the best corner in the sport in Sauce Gardner. Offensively, they added to the offensive line, and Aaron Rodgers, while nowhere near MVP level, let's get that to bed. The last time Rodgers played a full season, it was his worst season. So I don't think we should really talk ourselves into Rodgers in this Jets gangrene uniform being one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league. But the Jets aren't looking for top 5 quarterback. They're looking for top 20 quarterback. How about not the worst quarterback in the league? And if they can get that, they believe they can hang. When I placed my futures related to the AFC side of things, the reason I backed off the Jets, maybe more than anything, was price. People have been buying and clicking on the Jets all off season long. Me being on the Miami Dolphins is not to say that I don't think the Jets are good. I think the Jets are a playoff team. I do think they will get in this year, but they have the chance to make a monster statement in week 1 against the NFC favorite San Francisco 49ers. A 4.5-point spread still favors San Francisco, who spent all of last season booked as the best team in the National Football League, favorites in every game they played, including the Super Bowl. So now people wonder, do we have a Super Bowl hangover on our hands? Possibly, but I know the offseason wasn't smooth. Brandon Ayuk holdout that went way too long. Ultimately, he stays, but he wasn't practicing and getting in rhythm. A Trent Williams holdout that was bizarrely long and unnecessary. He's back, thank goodness. Without Trent Williams, this might be the worst offensive line in the league. With Trent Williams, it's honestly around average. He's that damn good. For the Niners, I am not in on this team, certainly relative to their price. They do have a great roster. It is one of the 5 best in the NFL. But I can't get there on these prices. Kyle Shanahan has now consistently come up too short in the Super Bowl. And there are injuries and questions around key players on the offensive side. McCaffrey, questionable heading into tonight's game. Every expectation is he will play. But I'm not betting on CMC tonight. I want nothing to do with Christian McCaffrey. As I mentioned, the Ayuk and Trent Williams holdouts don't make things easier. We've seen Kittle and Debo during this run pick up injuries that cost them time. I am not in on this Niners team, again, relative to their expectations. A bet I would have placed but could not find would have been Niners to not win the NFC West. I think the Rams or Seahawks could crash that party. Rams, unfortunately, let me, and I'm sure many of you down, who took them plus the points last night, but they still hung very, very well on the road against the contender in Detroit. Seahawks got the job done despite a halftime deficit against the Denver Broncos. Let's eye up these 2 quarterbacks here and how the props look for their 2024 debut. Brock Purdy checks in. MV Purdy, what a ride it was. Legitimate 1 game away, a Christmas at home against Baltimore. A win would have had Brock Purdy enter this season as the defending MVP of this league. A win in the Super Bowl might have had him as the defending Super Bowl MVP of this league. And instead, people still have their questions of can he get the job done. You look at these props here tonight, that 1.5 passing touchdown number. You can see that juice is bettable. It speaks to the respect the Jets defense commands on a nightly basis. Your Aaron Rodgers props listed, one not listed here, but that I'm on, is over 22.5 completions for Aaron Rodgers. The 49ers allowed the 3rd most completions in football last year. Despite that, we're a top half defense in the league. They do a great job of keeping everything in front of them, and I think you're going to see Aaron Rodgers look to get the ball out quickly while that offensive line is improved. He's not going to want to be taking hits here in this debut. Plus, if you look at the quarterbacks that San Fran went against last year that are starters this year, 11 of them, 7 of the 11 went over a 22.5 completions prop. I'm going over on Aaron Rodgers. Star running running backs here tonight. McCaffrey against Breece Hall. Fantasy players will know that in many leagues, this goes off the board at 1 and 2 between CMC and Breece Hall. The McCaffrey injuries have me well off his numbers, but have to mention the anytime touchdown price became consistently the tallest number from the touchdown market last year at minus 170. I'd listen to arguments that there is a discount on such a number if he is going to give it a go. Breece Hall checks in 64.5 receiving, and it says at plus 130 has the second best odds at most books to find the end zone. Let's talk some wide receivers here. There could be some wide receiver juice for me in this football game. And firstly, as it pertains to Garrett Wilson, I'm on his anytime touchdown score at plus 130. You can certainly do a little bit better in the market, I believe, on that Garrett Wilson touchdown if you look around. It's simple, but if this kid's going to be the Davante Adams that Aaron Rodgers requires, well, Davante Adams scored 29 touchdowns in 30 games his last 2 years in Green Bay. I have to get Garrett Wilson on the card for a touchdown. I'm on under 43.5 at minus 115, though, as I think these are two of the 5 best defenses in football. I think Robert Saleh and that group can hang against Shanahan. My questions for San Fran are more on the offensive side of the ball, and I still believe that the Jets here, with their play calling, have to answer more questions before I think they can, on the road, put up 24, 27 points against the Niners. Here's the sizzle, though. Deebo Samuel, we slapped a boost on it, got plus 480, 80 plus receiving. Let's see if Deebo can break out in prime time. Let's talk more NFL next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
Live at the right here, it is Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid. And we do have to take a look at some of the fallout from Sunday in the National Football League. And one of the big stories were the debuts for the rookie quarterbacks. Excuse me. And we had Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Bo Nix all out there as the starter in week number 1. And all of these quarterbacks, I would say, left a lot to be desired. Incredibly, I think you could make a pretty coherent argument that Caleb Williams was the worst of the bunch. 14 of 29, 93 yards, 3.2 yards per pass attempt. The Chicago Bears at home trailed 17-0 to the Tennessee Titans, and then Will Levis put on a performance for the ages, reminding people that he is in no world a franchise quarterback. That or the Bears' defense is going to be one of the 7 best in football this year. I mean, maybe. But this performance, I am sure for many who are doubting on Caleb Williams, maybe even doubting on the Chicago Bears, felt big. If you are fading Caleb Williams in the Offensive Rookie of the Year market, I am sure this was a performance that you look and say, yep, I'm on the right side, too short a number. Well, Caleb Williams' price in that market hardly moved a muscle, because this game for me, now I'm not going to tell you it was perfect, but as somebody who bet Caleb at plus 135, I look around the league and I go, yep, I've got the right guy. The main piece of my bet on Caleb Williams is my belief in the Chicago Bears, is the fact that I believe the Chicago Bears will be a playoff team in the NFC. Now, the Tennessee Titans are not world beaters. The Bears didn't run up against a great group. But also, I don't think that Caleb Williams will play a game this bad maybe the rest of his career. He was atrocious. Let's make no bones about it. But it is, I think the separator for Caleb is going to be the wins that the Chicago Bears are expected to be able to put up on the board. He has to be better than this. I think he will be. But when you look at the success that the Bears had relative to the other 2 rookie starting quarterbacks, that's why that number hardly moved. Statistically, the best of the bunch would have to be Jaden Daniels, who was on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 184 passing yards at 7.7 yards per pass attempt and 88 on the ground with 2 rushing scores clearly made him the top man statistically. From a props perspective, shame on me not thinking to take a look at a Jaden Daniels rushing ladder. Books not maybe prepared for the level of runner that Daniels is. Clearly, they were not. Jaden Daniels rushing number 39.5. Shout out our guy Donnie Rightside, who was all over his rushing numbers in week 1 as well as season long. Rightfully so. Jaden Daniels should consistently rush for, I think it's on the board, 50 yards a game. I think Jaden Daniels having the best statistical season wouldn't even surprise me. They were also dominated in this game. A lot of Jaden Daniels' passing success also came on the final drive where the Bucs were playing soft defense. But they were routed by Tampa Bay. That secondary is not ready to compete. And where I think the gap will exist in the win-loss column is bigger than a gap that I think Jaden Daniels could create statistically. And then you have Bo Nix in Seattle, who I think had by far the toughest test on his hand, a Seahawks team and defense especially, who I think could be a surprise group this year. I'm a big believer in Mike McDonald. Well, for the Broncos and Bo Nix, let's hope that's the case, because this was awful. 42 pass attempts leading to only 138 yards. 26 of 46, 3.3 yards per pass attempt. It was bad. It was only 5.3 yards per reception. 5.3 per reception for Denver pass catchers in that football game. I'm on Bo Nix season-long props. Over 315.5 passing yards, as well as a shot on him to get to 4,000 at plus 800. A lot of this game suggests yikes. Other than the 42 pass attempts, Denver is going to look to throw the ball. Denver's defense is bad. They'll need to throw the ball. If Bo Nix gets better, there will be value, absolutely, on his passing props. The tough thing for Bo Nix, Next week, he plays the Pittsburgh Steelers. He gets Tampa Bay on the road the week after that, and then on to the road against the Jets. Maybe we'll get involved with those Bo Nix passing numbers come week 5. No reason not to just quickly acknowledge Marvin Harrison Jr. What now? Look, maybe it was the Bills' defense. We can, time will tell. But Marvin Harrison Jr. debut, 1 catch, 4 yards. I mean, that might be worse than any of these other quarterback numbers. That is a whole lot of nothing. I know Kyler didn't have a great day, only 162 passing yards, but 3 targets for Marvin Harrison Jr. When you compare that to 8 for Greg Dortch, that just does not bring a lot of confidence to the table. Malik Neighbors was targeted 7 times. Sadly for him, the worst quarterback that's ever been paid at a franchise quarterback level is his starter in Daniel Jones. What an embarrassment to my home state in New York. Hopefully sooner than later the Giants get rid of him. They should cut him, quite frankly, as soon as they can. Every day he's on that roster, they are worse for it. They are going to potentially burn what I believe is a very good head coach in Brian Daboll as well with this sinking ship that is Daniel Jones. I, quite frankly, if I needed to move something in terms of my personal perception from one week to the next, it might be that I'm trying to think, wow, maybe the Minnesota Vikings are awesome. Defense rock star, offense rock star, but I need to hold off on those overreactions because the New York Giants are putting out a level of patheticness potentially this season that should never, ever happen for the New York Giants. Yet, when you somehow trick yourselves into paying Daniel Jones because of fluke performances he put up against these very Minnesota Vikings a few years ago, you know what? It's pretty appropriate that a game like this will wake up many, many people. Time will certainly tell, though, because Brian Daboll says for now, no changes to be made at the quarterback position. Drew Lock, keep that arm warm. It will be needed sooner than later. We'll talk some Major League Baseball next right here on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Game Time Decisions, we're right here on SportsGrid. We sneak in a little Major League Baseball. Joe Lisi right around the corner. Can't wait to get more breakdowns from Joe, what he saw yesterday throughout the NFL slate. Also, college football. There's a lot we have to get to. On Monday, we will handle some market movement. Tuesday, we're on our usual 2-hour schedule, so we'll pick up a lot of the pieces there as well. But I wanted to bring up the baseball board. It's been a while, rightfully so. I'm sure for many of you tonight, if you are betting baseball, it's light. Maybe you're a Yanks fan, fired up to see the Royals coming to town. I could respect that. Maybe you're a Paul Skeens bettor. And I want to mention that quickly. Having a quick conversation with some people who I respect, follow baseball throughout, no matter what time of year it is. And kind of the question is posed, what does a rookie have to do to get some juice in these Rookie of the Year markets? If you look right now, Colton Cowser's minus 160 to win in the American League. If you say who, I get it. Colton Cowser's not having some type of monster season for Baltimore at the dish. And in the National League, it's Jackson Merrill runaway style at minus 1,000 compared to Paul Skeens at plus 650. Now, I don't have any investments in Paul Skeens to win Rookie of the Year. We had a Cy Young ticket at 200 to 1 that marched all the way inside that top 3. It was beautiful. Once Paul Skeens fell out of that top 3, it was understandable. Why Paul Skeens, though, has been shifted so far down the Rookie of the Year race does suggest, as a pitcher, you're beat. Or everyone's right, and Paul Skeens tonight might have his final start of the year. The case on Skeens versus Merrill has to be the idea that Merrill is an everyday player, therefore he is more valuable. Because it is important just to remind people, just because Skeens fell out of a Cy Young race, he's having a awesome season, 9-2 record, 2.13 ERA. By the end of tonight, might have 150 strikeouts, whip under 1. But again, people will say, not an everyday player. How can he impact winning? Well, you probably know where this is going. War Merchant KW checking in. Top 10 in WAR. American League. Number 1, Shohei Ohtani. Number 3, Francisco Lindor. Number 5, Chris Sale. Number 8, Paul Skeens. Not inside the top 10, even in position players, Jackson Merrill. Merrill's having a great year. But how did a superstar in Paul Skeens, who got so close to the sun, now find himself a pretty sizable dog? How is this not a race? Because the Pirates are bad? It's just odd to me. And there's a part of me that wonders if Skeens is just worth it at plus 650. Because since he is so popular, maybe the voters will get to Skeens when the ballots get placed in. The reason I'm not betting Skeens is now I am worried about the idea that at any moment he could be shut down. Knowing he didn't start at the beginning of the year, if he then misses the final month, even if he finishes with a bigger WAR than Jackson Merrill, which he will, voters will then say, listen, he bookended the season by not being out there. He can't be Rookie of the Year, an argument I would listen to. And I would listen to a Jackson Merrill argument kind of regardless. I just wouldn't listen to Jackson Merrill at minus 1,000. I think it's just something for people to keep their eye on. Again, going through tonight's baseball board, I mentioned it's the Yankees and the Royals. This series, by the way, just with the awards, if there is going to be any way for Bobby Witt to steal the MVP award from Aaron Judge, it would be in this series. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Tonight, Judge and the Yanks, a minus 185 favorite, match up well against Brady Singer. Singer, though, has struggled certainly more against lefties, so it would be Juan Soto, who from a number perspective would stand out a little bit more. His hit-run RBI number is minus 145. Maybe you want to play Soto for an RBI, a home run, if you're still betting those outside of Dinger Tuesday, or an RBI. That would be something I would keep some tallies on. Mets have the big game tonight with their race for an NL wildcard spot. They're going up against the Toronto Blue Jays here. This earlier in the day was slated to be Paul Blackburn. It's shifted to Tylor McGill, and that would shift where I would look initially. Paul Blackburn this year struggling against righties would have been a great spot to bet Vladdy Jr. Jr., but with McGill there, I would be very cautious. The Red Sox look like a decent money line play if you wanted to go with a bounce-back Brian Bayo spot paired with a sell-high Cade Povich coming off 7 shutout innings against the god-awful Chicago White Sox. I don't hate the Red Sox at that number. And then tonight, with Kyle Hendricks going against the Dodgers, got to find some ways to get involved with that offense there. Ohtani's expensive batting leadoff. Freddie Freeman isn't. Still smashing righties. Freeman for an RBI would be my favorite bet on the baseball slate tonight. We've got Joe Lisi up next. Game time decision.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFP to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, let's make it happen here. Game Time Decisions, and look who's here. It's Joe Lisi. How we feeling, Joe? Big Monday night game.
Oh, I love the game. Love the slate. I love the props in regards to tonight's matchup. So don't have a real good feel. I lean to the Niners and the under, but I'll see how this plays out from an in-game perspective. But I'm all over the props tonight.
Yeah, we're going to be on live tonight again, myself, Joe, along with Donnie Rightside for this one. Cannot wait to get involved with some live juice in this game as well. I don't have too many pregame starting positions there. We'll get to those in a minute. We'll get to the NFL in a minute as well. I want to get to the college game with you because it's funny, we spent all day together yesterday, but we didn't talk a lot about the college stuff. Notre Dame's loss. You know I wasn't on them to make the playoff. They beat Texas A&M, and the numbers reflected that they should be one of the biggest favorites to make it. I thought that was fair. I thought there could still be trip-up spots. I thought Northern Illinois could cover a 4-touchdown spread. I didn't think they could win the football game. Listen, obviously, it's an embarrassment. This team's now 100-1 to win a national championship. You see all the market movement there that our crew put together. Excellent job. What's your takeaway from the Notre Dame upset?
Well, it's amazing because I did not expect them to lose. Good call by you in regards to them being potential frauds. I still think they could get back into this thing. But again, 28.5-point favorites over Northern Illinois. They should award them down in regards to the interior, especially the way that offensive defensive lines played the week prior in College Station to come out completely flat in a home opener. I mean, this was a perfect opportunity to crack potentially the top 5. It was the first loss Notre Dame has ever had against a MAC opponent.
I think they were 10 or 11-0 all time against the MAC. And they lose outright, Kev. I mean, unbelievable. Their winning percentage in the history, I believe, in regards to Notre Dame football, in regards to like a week one performance, is like 900% or more. And you lose 16-14. You brought in another transfer quarterback in regards to Riley Leonard, right? And I thought it was an upgrade from where Sam Hartman was because of his mobility. They played down with Sam Hartman, right? That was supposed to take them to the promised land.
Yeah.
They're playing down with Riley Leonard.
Well, and that was one of the reasons I wasn't in zone on them, because I actually thought Hartman was above Riley Leonard, and I saw Hartman not hit the ground running. But here's the issue. This isn't the first loss like this for Marcus Freeman. And the first time this happened with Marshall, to some degree, I said, look, man, he's just getting his feet under him. The quarterback position back then, I mean, Tyler Buckner, the kid went to Bama to play lacrosse. I mean, cut it out, okay?
He's back at Notre Dame, I think, playing lacrosse.
He probably is.
I think he is.
Probably winning national championships, quite honestly. Riley Leonard should go play some lacrosse. Look, Marcus Freeman can't stay the head coach at Notre Dame. I don't think that's an overreaction. You beat A&M. You beat Clemson. You beat USC. He has great wins. You can't lose games like this. No. And when you do, it's on coaching. It's because you pour everything into your victories over an A&M, and then you don't get your guys up again. I don't think it's an overreaction to call for Marcus Freeman's job at the Fighting Irish. I like the hire. I don't dislike Marcus Freeman at all.
No.
I think he still has a place coaching in college football, no doubt in my mind. I don't think he can be the coach of Notre Dame.
Well, think about it. It's similar to the situation in Ohio State with Ryan Day and the same thing prior in regards to Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley, isn't it? I mean, think about it. They were handed those programs. Both of those trains were in motion, and they were expected to get those teams to the college football playoff. You're talking about a coach in Brian Kelly that took Notre Dame not once, but twice to the college football playoff in regards to that, right? You can't lose to Northern Illinois. The inexperience was there from the get-go. Unfortunately for Marcus Freeman, that first year he did have to get his feet wet. They were 10-3 overall last year, and that was with Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
Now you bring in Riley Leonard. We know that he's a great recruiter, but it's one thing to recruit. You have to elevate this talent to the next level, and that's something, unfortunately, to this point, he hasn't done.
No, he certainly has not. The last thing I'll say on this is people saying, well, if they run the table, maybe they could make the playoff. I heard someone say that that's why the expanded playoff is bad. Garbage take, won't spend more time on that. If they run the table, they could make the playoff. There's no evidence that they're going to run the table. Louisville's now ranked top 20.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
And they lost to Louisville last year.
And, look, I know I've poked you about Lincoln Riley. Right. You were also on USC to make the playoff. You had expectations for that team. That's a really tough game. Plus, we at Purdue's never easy. Georgia Tech and Atlanta. Florida State at some point will wake up this year. I have no doubt in my mind. Navy, Army. I don't see any world Notre Dame runs the table.
They can get there if they have one loss or two losses, depending upon if they blow out USC. Do they have the quarterback advantage, Miller Moss or Riley Leonard now?
No.
I mean, from what you've seen, absolutely not, right?
Right.
So that is the problem. I would give them the edge, obviously, with Florida State because they're in shambles now, and they have to regroup and find an identity. But right now, the biggest thing for Marcus Freeman is it seems like they came out ill-prepared. I mean, completely flat. Home opener. I mean, I don't care, and I said it to Ben as Ray. It's fine if you win but don't cover. Yep. That is acceptable.
Yes.
To lose the game and be held by a MAC opponent to 14 points after you go out in a primetime affair and knock around Texas A&M and Mike Elko, that is pitiful. That's on coaching. That's on the locker room more than anything else.
No disagreement here. Now, I want to get to Oregon-Boise State. A lot of angles from this game, in my opinion. The Ducks win. Never had a chance at covering a football game that they were nearly 3-touchdown favorites in. Boise State's supposed to be a G5 contender. Well, they might have the best player in college football with Ashton Genty's performances through 2 weeks, but it was still a loss nonetheless. I think there's a lot of angles you can take it to. What was your takeaway from Oregon-Boise State?
Well, again, I'm shocked that this defense is as bad as they are early on. A lot of moving parts in there. Oregon,
okay.
Yes, because, again, I expected them to shut down Gentry for the most part and put the game on Maddox in regards to that matchup. And he torched them in regards to that because of the success of the rushing attack. Entering that game, just overall, Oregon last year only held opposing offenses to 102 rushing yards per game. Dan Lanning, a defensive-minded head coach. You would expect a better effort, especially since they walked through the motions against Idaho. I have no problem right now saying that offense is going to be just fine because I think Dylan Gabriel showed me in back-to-back weeks, even though they came out lackluster, he's putting up numbers, completing well over 70% of his passes. The kickoff return, how about that, where the kid drops the ball? How quick was that review?
Yeah, that was questionable.
I mean, come on. But here's the thing. They play now Oregon State. This is a rivalry game, Kev. Things need to change this week. Otherwise, they're going to be in trouble as well. I'll give you all the credit. You said that they were frauds early on. I still think they could regroup and be one of the better teams in the Big Ten and compete. But through 2 weeks, again, flat.
I just don't think that defense is of the upper echelon of college football, and I thought they were priced like it was upper echelon defense. I didn't mention Michigan, Texas yet. Listen, again, when I'm right, we pop the chest out. Boy, does it look like I missed on Michigan. Not just the 7.5, Joe. You know I was invested in them as it pertains to the futures market. But the thing is, more than I was wrong. I'm disappointed. I cannot believe that this team's wanted to stick with Davis Warren over a mobile quarterback in Alex Orji. I'm not in practice, so I don't see it. This kid, Alex Orji, must not be able to complete a pass. I cannot believe he's not the quarterback.
It's the whole offensive philosophy right now. They are predicated, in my opinion, on running the football, physicality, and then working off of play action. This isn't J.J. McCarthy, and I think that's what Sharon Moore and the offensive staff need to understand. You had a veteran quarterback, love him or hate him last year, that could understand pressure and was battle-tested. You have two quarterbacks that are making their first career starts in regards to this offensive scheme, and again, the rushing attack isn't there. It's not consistent. Donovan Edwards, 44 yards in regards to that performance? Yeah. Mullings, they should have ran the football a majority of the time to get this game into the fourth quarter, make it a 17-10 type of ball game. And once yours and that offense broke out and they were playing from a deficit, lights out.
And as somebody who wasn't in on Texas this year, I actually did not have them in my playoff. That team should... I said that Notre Dame should be favored to make the playoff. I still had my questions. I would now be genuinely stunned if Texas didn't make it.
Right.
But it doesn't mean I'm buying their national title futures just yet. That game felt more about Michigan really not answering the bell in a big-time spot. It's quick break. We're back with Joe. NFL Week 1 fallout. We'll hit that next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was Lincoln! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Back right here on Sports Grid, Monday Night Football between the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi, Donnie Rightside joins us for our in-game coverage, pre-game coverage handled by Casey Hudson and crew. It begins in 15 minutes, so don't go anywhere. The 4.5-point spreads are starting to vanish here. A lot more 4s, even 3.5 out there in the market. The total right now between flat 43 and 43.5. I am on under tonight in this game here, Joe. For me, these are two of the 5 best offenses in the league. I'd listen to arguments they're the 2 best offenses in the league, and I think of these teams, I'd have more questions that need to be answered offensively. All these Niners holdouts, McCaffrey injury, Rodgers first real game with the Jets, basically, it feels like there. Some new weapons coming in. I did play that game under tonight.
I lean that way as well. Now, I'm not taking a stand pre-kick.
Yep.
If it gets into the 30s in any type of capacity, 32, 31, I might jump in terms of that regard. Do lean to the 49ers because they are at home and the physicality of the offensive defensive lines. I think they'll take away Breece Hall, force the game on Aaron Rodgers in terms of that regard. But I do like some props in regards to this matchup. So I like Tyler Conklin. I think when you look at success for Aaron Rodgers throughout his career, he's thrown at tight ends back in the day, Mercedes Lewis and Tanyan. Conklin could be that type of player, 29.5. I actually altered him up to 40-plus tonight, Kev, in regards to that matchup. And I think everybody's looking Breece Hall. I'm looking at Braylon Allen. 15.5 in regards to his rushing tonight. Way too low. I think he could blow through that number, and then I'm going to make you laugh. Who's the security blanket for Brock Purdy? Third down situations. Juwan.
No, that's not the answer. That's not.
Juwan Jennings. Give me Juwan Jennings, 16.5, 17.5 receiving over.
I should have seen that coming, but what a setup. That's not his third down security.
It is. He's a third down. He will have a bigger part.
McCaffrey, Kittle, Debo.
Don't follow the money tonight. Tonight is secondary, tertiary.
All
wide receivers.
All right. Let's get into some stuff we saw yesterday. And there is one performance where I think the both of us are very happy with what we saw, but not exactly for the same reasons. And that would be the game between the Saints and the Panthers. I'll let you handle your reason why, because, Joe, from a best bet perspective, I know it's week 1. That might be as good as you get all year long, brother.
57 total points. Now, I did feel that Carolina would contribute a lot more with Bryce Young and Dave Canales. I have to see Bryce Young develop more as a passer. Still the same situation with Frank Reich last year. He's still struggling with reads and progressions in regards to that matchup. But again, the New Orleans offense was a bright spot. I was shocked on how much they utilized Taysom Hill, and we saw Derek Carr break out with 200 yards and 3 tutties yesterday. I mean, if they play like that from an offensive perspective, they're going to be there in regards to the South.
I mean, the fact that game was your best bet towards the over, I think it beat the total in terms of an over by the most that any number beat its total. With 57 points, it was tied for the second highest scoring game on the slate. But I'm not in love with that performance because I was on the over. I'm happy for you. I'm on the Saints to win the NFC South.
Good look.
I don't want to overreact to 1 week. That's as good as it can look, though, a 37-point victory over a team that people got a little too cute with, I think, in the Carolina love that was out there in the market, Joe. For me, at least, I think the Saints can – so the offensive portion of it for New Orleans is where I'm like, okay, that's probably not real. Derek Carr was like MVP level good yesterday. I don't think that's Derek Carr. I said yesterday, I am a believer in this defense. It was why I was worried about your total.
Right.
Because I think this defense can step up huge this year. Chase Young had a monster game. You know Brian Breesy from his days at Clemson. They add Kool-Aid McKinstry in the draft. A lot of veterans as well, Joe, like DeMario Davis and Cam Jordan. I'm buying what I'm seeing from the Saints, and it didn't hurt that the favorites and the Falcons played the way they did against Pittsburgh.
Well, I'll just say this, and we'll get to the Falcons in a little bit. That overreaction on putting them 12-1 to win the NFC was absolutely ridiculous preseason, and we can get into that. As far as DeMario Davis, he is the main cog of that defense. As he goes, so does that defensive unit, and they are opportunistic. very good, force teams to methodically work down the field. They force turnovers, very good in run support. They utilized and contained Miles Sanders yesterday, forced Bryce Young into long third down situations. So it's a great look. And I'll say this about Derek Carr. They had no problem last year moving the football between the 30s. They are much more, at least in one game, efficient inside the red zone. If they can continue that type of success, they're going to be there. Now, I still buy in. You're in on New Orleans.
Yep.
I'm still in on Tampa Bay and Baker because that performance yesterday was complete, and I believe he is the best quarterback in the conference, in the division. And that's why I would give them the edge over Atlanta. I am not sold on Kirk Cousins, and I'm certainly not sold on that defense led by Raheem Morris.
Here is why, and I don't mind the Tampa pick. If you said, hey, Saints are out, I would look Tampa's way as well. I'm tired of the Cousins stuff.
I'm tired of it too.
The Baker Cousins, everybody would rate Kirk higher. It's ridiculous. He has one playoff win.
Yeah.
The whole narrative around the guy. Everybody you know out there. Hey, Kirk's playing on a Monday night. Fade, primetime garbage. And we're betting this guy minus 135 to win the division. We're calling this guy a top 12 quarterback. I got people ranking him ahead of Jalen Hurts. Get bent. That's crazy. That's nuts. Cam Stewart line there. I can't even. Now it's like 2019 again. I'm getting angry.
Well,
it's crazy.
Well,
Joe.
Here's the thing. You said one playoff win, Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
Baker has two.
Correct.
Cleveland, he knocked off Pittsburgh, and he knocked off your Philadelphia Eagles
in a dominant way.
Dominated. He's battle tested.
Whoa!
Hey now!
Jordan Mason, come on in. Mike Garofalo, NFL Network, a surprise. He tweets out, 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey is inactive tonight against the Jets. Sources tell him and Ian Rappaport McCaffrey was listed as questionable after being limited in practice last week with a calf/Achilles injuries. He had expressed confidence he would play. A boost for the under. I imagine a dropping spread. Could this line get to 3? I can't imagine it gets below that. It is possible. A lot certainly now for that pregame crew to discuss as well. But Lisa and I will take a crack at it. Monster breaking news. Christian McCaffrey out week 1 for the Niners. What does this mean? We'll tell you next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was Lincoln! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Huge breaking news. It's game time decisions, and more than anybody realized, that's what Christian McCaffrey was tonight. Well, the decision is to have him listed as inactive. Right now, people are scrambling, and the books are in line. A books popped here at -3. Now San Francisco total dropping as well. That number checks in 42. We have locked lines right now on FanDuel. Those numbers I'm tossing to you are on DraftKings. I'm just trying to get lines for people here, Joe. Christian McCaffrey, a stunning absence. I knew he was limited. We were wondering maybe the workload could be cut down, but a full inactive. Niners kept this close to the vest, man. What's your takeaway now?
Still lean to the Niners because I think this game's going to be won in the trenches. I still give the edge to the Niners offense, even though Christian McCaffrey's not there. Jordan Mason and those running backs by committee, I still think will be able to take over. Comes down to Brock Purdy and the offensive weapons, right? George Kittle, Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and my guy Juwan Jennings, I still think can challenge that Jet secondary over the top. And I still think they grind out a win. I think it will be potentially, if you're looking to the under, and I think that's the way we look now, is to the under, 23-14 in regards to that.
So I'm trying to figure out which game it was last year that Christian McCaffrey missed, because he missed the one game, and what that did for the San Francisco offense, because we have seen...
It wasn't Minnesota last year. The game they lost.
Let's see. Oh, he just missed the last game of the season. That's interesting. He really played every other game. He got banged up in-game against Cleveland, which I do remember. So CMC's actually been healthy, man. Look, there's... So I was leaning Jets, right? I felt there was too much Jets love in the market, where I wonder if maybe we're all writing off San Fran too quickly. I'm lower on San Fran this year. I think the Jets, as long as they're healthy, big caveat, can be very good. But this is, of course, on the road, San Francisco. It's a big spot. I felt more comfortable with the under because of how I value these defenses. McCaffrey being limited was a part of my cap. I didn't realize he was going to be fully out. That total at 43.5 that I bet. I mean, now this is getting smashed.
Yeah.
41.5 now here. Niners back up to 4, though.
Yeah.
People clearly click on any Niners at -3.
Well, here's the concern, too. I mean, Aaron Rodgers hasn't played in over a year.
Oh, yeah.
Now. And we saw, I'll keep going back to it, Kirk Cousins, $155 and struggle yesterday.
Terrible.
Deshaun Watson, when he came back from the layoff, still not right after 2 years in regards to that.
Not wrong.
You know, again, what are you going to get on the road? That is a big ask. And again, if we're betting pregame, I need to see it before I believe it. So I know what I have in terms of the 49ers. Anything that you're betting from a Jet perspective is basically hoping or just projecting based off nothing right now.
Well, what you have from the Niners now is a +130 number on Jordan Mason to score, because the reality when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers is anybody who's at running back can give them at least some level of production. So that's where the Jordan Mason number checks in that area. But really, you're seeing props just be completely wiped off the board. The one number that I played, and again, in no world are you going to get some monster I told you so, I did not think that McCaffrey would miss this game. I thought he could be somewhat limited. When I look at the Niners, I also know Brandon Ayuk wasn't practicing. I felt that Deebo Samuel then could surprise. That is why I took a boost, got it up near 5-1, Deebo for 80 receiving yards. It's kind of one of those take what you got in front of you bets. I don't know where that number will look now, but don't be scared to get involved with it if you're still getting a similar price on Deebo's receiving. The Niners, if the run game's not effective, 2nd and long, 3rd and long, they might need to throw the ball more. I know people are going to run to Deebo on the ground. I don't have a sample size of Deebo without McCaffrey that says he's now going to get 5, 6, 7 carries. That's not how I want to look to bet Deebo. I'd rather bet Deebo in the air tonight, Joe, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, again, I don't think they want to risk him getting hurt either, right? In regards to, runs up the middle, especially in game number 1. Because of the situation with Christian McCaffrey. Is it going to be one game? Is it going to be multiple games? Is it going to be a nagging injury that he's dealing with throughout the year? And obviously his second option is Deebo in terms of utilizing him like a Swiss Army knife. So we have to see how this develops. Again, I'm looking at some numbers now. If you're looking, I still like Jennings, 18.5. It hasn't moved. some movement on the Jets lines. Mike Williams could be a factor today. 26.5 is a low total.
I am also just going to let people know, and we'll go through these later. Again, Casey Hudson, pregame coverage, Tom Vecchio, Dave Sharapan, Adam Coffin's going to be a great show. Obviously, we know they'll be covering this in a major, major way. The Debo shot I'm taking on under 43.5, that number's gone. Rodgers, 22.5 completions over. Garrett Wilson, touchdown. Casey Hudson and the pregame show are next.